Welcome back. You're still watching Netbank Business Watch. Thank you for tuning in. We now want to take a look at financial markets this afternoon. We're joined by Nozi Busiso Demba from Netbank Eswatini. Very good afternoon, Nozi. It's been a while, hey?
Welcome back. A while. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to your viewers.
Afternoon. So yeah, let's just head straight to the US. You know, it has been a hectic week. All eyes were on the US elections, and I suppose the dollar has been strengthening. What was happening?
Yeah, it's been a very hectic week, a volatile week, a few days in markets. On Monday, initially we saw the rand strengthening after the Purchasing Managers Index was released, indicating that the private companies in SA are doing great and they've been on an upward trajectory since October. So the rand strengthened because of that. Then yesterday, the US election started, and we saw some US dollar strengthening, but overnight, the dollar immediately strengthened quite significantly after the U.S. elections, and today, as we've progressed with the morning, and we're seeing the gap between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, the dollar continued to strengthen further. Currently, the dollar is trading against the SZL at 17.6701. Against the euro at 18.9955, and the pound against the SZL at 22.7846.
Okay, so how long is the dollar is going to be strong for? You know, it's quite strong today because you know Donald Trump has been announced as the president-elect of the U.S. How long is it going to stay like this?
So it's difficult to tell how long it'll stay like this for, but you'll actually be surprised to realize that it was stronger on Monday than it is now.
Today, okay.
Yeah. So we're seeing the dollar strengthen, but the rand on Monday was much stronger.
Okay. Speaking of Trump, he has won. He has been announced as the president-elect. What could it possibly mean? What impact will this have on Africa as a whole?
There's a couple of impacts. All of it is projections, but we'll see as we go along. Right now, economists are projecting that Trump winning the elections will have increased inflationary pressures on the U.S. Trump has very strong trade policies, which include import tariffs that'll then cause issues for imports coming from China. So the expectation is that prices in the US will start to increase and inflation will also start to increase. Unfortunately for the consumer, if prices increase, inflation increases and therefore interest rates remain high.
Okay, so how would the situation been like if it were Kamala Harris president-elect?
Hopefully it would have had a different outcome.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but it's also difficult to tell with these things because markets are very volatile. On the other hand, though, for the rand, there might be advantages to Trump winning because his policies will also put pressure on the Mexican peso as a currency, and investors might shift from the peso to the ZAR, which is a similar currency. So there might be benefits there. Okay,
all right. So moving on, interest rate decision coming up tomorrow. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we're expecting an interest rate decision from the Fed tomorrow. The expectation is that interest rates will be cut by 25 basis points. But then again, after the winning of Trump today, we'll see if that has an impact on the actual decision tomorrow.
Okay, so when you take a look at the commodities, the price of oil and gold, I see that it's decreasing today. What's happening there?
So the gold, the price of gold right now currently trading at $2,720.39 per ounce, and Brent crude trading at $76.36 per barrel. Both of these have decreased. Brent crude we've seen decreasing due to the US dollar strength, and then we've also due to low demand coming from China, which is the world's biggest importer of oil. And we've also seen Brent crude, the price of gold also decreasing due to US dollar strength as well.
Okay, so we can expect, you know, the numbers to change.
Right now, not. As long as the US dollar continues to increase, we'll likely see a decrease in those prices.
All right. So looking at equities, the S&P 500 is soaring. Are there any companies that are benefiting from this?
Yes. So we've seen the S&P 500 soar ever since Trump claimed his victory, and Tesla has been a big driver of this. Elon Musk was a huge supporter of Trump throughout his election, so we saw the price of Tesla increase. Bitcoin as well has leaped quite significantly, and this is mainly because of investor confidence. Trump is known to be a supporter of digital assets, so there's investor confidence in the cryptocurrency space. The other indices have also benefited from Trump's victory, and we've been seeing them also increase quite significantly.
Okay, just lastly, before I let you go, any added data that you can expect this week and perhaps next week?
For this week, I think the main thing is the Fed decision tomorrow, because it will be quite interesting to see whether the expectation of the inflationary pressures is significant, and whether it affects what the Fed does tomorrow and going forward.
All right, thank you, Zibu. Thank you. And that's it for our financial market update this afternoon. This was Nozibu Demo from Nedbank Eswatini. Let's take a break. Sabuya Kanamaj.